What happens when the person who's supposed to protect you becomes the person you need protection from? Imagine trusting someone with your life, your future, your very soul, and then finding out they might have had a secret agenda all along. That's exactly the explosive story brewing behind one of the biggest names in hip-hop right now, NBA YoungBoy. You've seen him on stage, rapping with raw honesty, millions of fans screaming every lyric, a superstar from Baton Rouge who went from streets to stadiums. But behind the cameras, behind the fame, lurks a story so shocking, so twisted, it will make you question everything you thought you knew about mentorship, loyalty, and family. Enter Kyrie, the woman who called herself his godmother. She claims she was the guardian angel who rescued a struggling kid from a life on the streets. But is that the full story? Or is there a darker truth hiding in plain sight? Allegations have surfaced. Whispers are circulating. And one line in YoungBoy's one lyric has the internet doing a double take. Was the woman who was supposed to be his protector actually the one blurring the lines in ways nobody should ever blur? Today, we're peeling back the layers, exposing secrets, and showing you a side of NBA YoungBoy's life that the tabloids won't touch. Buckle up, because this isn't just drama, it's a roller coaster of betrayal, fame, and controversy that will leave you speechless. NBA YoungBoy's story is one of the most shocking, complicated, and jaw-dropping tales in modern hip-hop. A story that reads like a thriller but is all too real. Born Kentrell Gaulden, he grew up in the unforgiving streets of Baton Rouge, a place where violence, gangs, and poverty were constants, and where fathers were locked away and mothers struggled to survive. From the very start, survival was his only lesson, and the streets were teaching it ruthlessly. Into this chaos stepped Kyrie, the woman who would claim the title of his godmother and the adult who promised guidance, mentorship, and safety. The person who was supposed to be his protector, his ally, the one adult standing between him and disaster. On paper, her story sounds heroic, a savior appearing when no one else would. Someone guiding a troubled child through heartbreak, loss, and the threat of the streets. But as is often the case with too good to be true stories, shadows lurked behind the smile. Sources familiar with the situation paint Kyrie not just as a mentor but as an obsessed presence in YoungBoy's life. Someone whose involvement may have gone far beyond what anyone could have imagined or expected. While she helped him navigate school, handled the paperwork, and even allegedly helped arrange his house arrest in Utah to keep him away from Baton Rouge violence, the line between care and control began to blur. When YoungBoy was just a kid, trying to survive and find his way, the guidance he received was laced with confusion, mixed signals, and boundaries that should never have been crossed. The explosive moment that sent shockwaves through the hip-hop world came from YoungBoy himself in a lyric so shocking that it broke the internet. "My godmother want to sleep with me. I thought I was your child." Those words alone left fans stunned, the public questioning how a person who claimed to be family could develop intentions so inappropriate that they became part of a song, part of a confession, and part of the evidence that the story was darker than anyone had imagined. Then came the tattoos, the social media posts, the obsessive displays of attachment that left online investigators and fans scrambling to make sense of the situation, debating whether these gestures were harmless godparent, pride, or signs of something disturbingly unhealthy. Adding fuel to the fire were cryptic posts from YoungBoy's mother, Sharonda Gaulden, hinting at truths that no one had heard. Statements that suggested that Kyrie's role in her son's life might have crossed boundaries, and that she knew details the public had yet to uncover. From house arrest in Utah to mentorship turned obsession, public disputes and warnings from family, everything built a picture of a relationship that was equal parts influence, protection, and betrayal. Even as YoungBoy's career skyrocketed, the shadows of these early relationships followed him, proving that money, fame, and success do not erase trauma, do not heal wounds, and do not make complicated human dynamics any less dangerous. Fans, insiders, and casual observers alike were left wondering what was real, what was manipulation, and what boundaries had been crossed under the guise of care and mentorship. The story of NBA YoungBoy and Kyrie is not just scandalous, it is unsettling, leaving everyone questioning the very people they trust, the motivations behind guidance, and the price of fame when the line between protection and predation is blurred. As the story of NBA YoungBoy and his godmother unfolded, the public reaction was immediate, intense, and full of disbelief. Fans scrambling to piece together the timeline of a relationship that many struggled to understand, questioning how mentorship could turn into a situation so fraught with tension and alleged misconduct. And social media exploded with speculation, opinions, and heated debates over every lyric, every tattoo, every public appearance that hinted at the complexity of their bond. And while some defended Kyrie, saying she was simply a devoted godparent who stayed by his side through trauma and loss, others could not ignore the warning signs, the obsessive behavior, and the chilling confession embedded in his music that suggested something went far beyond normal boundaries, creating a whirlwind of discussion about trust, power, and the vulnerability of young talent. And behind the scenes, sources claim that conversations about legality and accountability were quietly happening, whispers of attorneys being consulted, family members strategizing, and old friends of YoungBoy weighing in on the possible consequences of someone abusing the trust of a child under their care. And the scandal grew even more tangled when details about the Utah house arrest surfaced, revealing how Kyrie allegedly used her connections to ensure he avoided the harsh realities of a Louisiana jail. A move that on one hand seemed protective but on the other reinforced the narrative of control, positioning her as someone indispensable to his survival and career. Someone who could dictate the trajectory of his life while simultaneously pushing emotional boundaries. And, as fans dug deeper, analyzing past interviews, cryptic Instagram posts, and the timing of her most devoted displays, the picture became even more complicated, suggesting a level of attachment and obsession that went far beyond mentorship. And commentators began drawing comparisons to other high-profile cases in entertainment, where adults in positions of power exploited young talent, noting that while YoungBoy now holds wealth, fame, and influence, the psychological imprint of these experiences is indelible, leaving questions about his ability to trust those around him, the influence of trauma on his artistry, and the cost of success when guidance comes with strings attached. And public backlash intensified when his mother, Sharonda, issued another cryptic warning, fueling speculation that she possesses knowledge about boundaries crossed or intentions gone awry, prompting fans and critics to debate the ethics, morality, and legality of the relationship. And even though no official charges or legal findings have been reported, the narrative itself is enough to make anyone pause, to reconsider what mentorship really means, and to confront the uncomfortable truth that those who are supposed to protect can also harm. And in the midst of all this, NBA YoungBoy continues to release music that reflects pain, betrayal, and resilience, allowing the world to witness not only his rise as a superstar but also his ongoing struggle to navigate relationships tainted by manipulation and blurred lines, proving that success does not erase trauma, that fame does not immunize a person from exploitation, and that behind the glitz and the billion streams lies a story of complex emotions, dangerous attachments, and the haunting reality of growing up in an environment where trust and safety were supposed to be guaranteed by the very people who may have violated it, leaving the world questioning, debating, and waiting for the next revelation in a saga that is as disturbing as it is fascinating. Now that you've heard the shocking, twisted, and unbelievable story behind NBA YoungBoy and his godmother, it's time to ask yourself some hard questions. How do you protect someone when the person they trust could be the one causing them harm? How much of what we see on the surface is real, and how much is carefully crafted to hide secrets we'll never fully understand? Are loyalty and love enough to excuse boundaries being crossed? Or do we hold people accountable, no matter how much they claim to have helped? This story isn't just about rap, fame, or money. It's about trust, power, and the dangerous gray areas that exist when adults take control of young lives. We've seen the lyrics, the tattoos, the cryptic posts, and the reactions. And now it's up to you to decide what it all means. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Tell us what you think really happened, and don't hold back, because this story demands discussion. If you want to keep uncovering the untold truths behind your favorite artists, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because trust me, we're just getting started with the shocking revelations that the mainstream media won't touch. Are you ready to see the truth? Are you ready to see the truth?